Well, hello, it's me, the Dakota Kai guy, and today I am going to be bringing you another edition of my fantasy bookings. And I thought, what more appropriate with these ever-buzzing rumors of The Rock returning coming around than to discuss how I would book Roman Reigns. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. We're gonna skip right to November with this one because that's where I believe this story will start to take place, and I think you're going to see what I'm leading into if my opening didn't already give that away. So we are at Survivor Series in November, and Roman Reigns has just defeated the WWE Champion of Raw, and now out comes Big E to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. To the shock of many, he was left off the card. He was supposed to be on the Survivor Series team. Whatever, he didn't make it. He cashes in, but it's an unsuccessful cash-in, not because he loses, but because the Usos get involved and interfere and cost him his opportunity. So, after this, The Rock comes out and makes his ever-awaited return and shocks the entire arena. And this is going to set up a very interesting dynamic. He basically comes out, he attacks Roman Reigns' personality, his ego, etc., and then he basically straight up says that he is he might call himself the tribal chief, but really he'll just be recognized as The Rock's bitch. And that plants a seed. Also important to note on this card, the New Day beat the Usos in a Champions versus Champions match because by this point the New Day will be 20-time tag team champions because that is what the New Day do. The Rock also warns Roman Reigns, telling him he will be back again, and this isn't just a one-off little appearance. Now, the following SmackDown, Roman Reigns is, listing off his accolades, his accomplishment, talking about how he's terrorized through the entire division, as he likes to do, only to be interrupted by Big E. Now, this will set up a match for the December pay-per-view, which presumably is TLC, because that's usually what it is, in which case, it's going to be a 6-man tag team match, which is eventually going to be the Bloodline versus the New Day. And this is going to be quite a monumental match. If it's TLC, it'll probably be a tables match just to fit the stipulation of the pay-per-view. And I think given the tension between these 6 men, it would make a lot of sense for that stipulation to be a thing. So in that match, Roman Reigns is going to do his normal Roman Reigns things, all the heel tactics that him and his family like to do. And he's going to win by putting someone through a table, because that's how table matches work. Smart. It might be, I think, for the sake of this, we could make it like an elimination match and we have like a stare down between Big E and Roman Reigns, but I digress. You get the point. Roman Reigns wins, and that is the final outcome. Now, on this SmackDown, following the TLC pay-per-view, or whatever the December pay-per-view so happens to be, The Rock comes out and calls out Roman Reigns. Another shocking return by The Rock, and he's putting Roman Reigns on notice, telling him he's been weaseling his way out of championship matches for all this time, and he's been a disgrace to the family when he claims to be the tribal chief. And what this is going to do is this is going to set up a match between Roman Reigns and Big E for the Universal Championship once more, this time The Rock dictating that he won't be able to escape through his normal nefarious tactics because he is going to be the special guest referee. Now, this is going to be a huge match for everyone involved. It's going to be inside of a steel cage, presumably. That's my dog. This match will be contested inside of a steel cage just to keep the Usos out, try to give Big E a fair chance, etc., etc. Now, basically, the ending of the match, The Rock is going to end up fending off the Usos from trying to interfere and get in the cage and prevent Big E from escaping. The normal near-fall type of stuff we have in these types of situations. And The Rock is ultimately going to end up hitting the rock bottom on Roman Reigns because he keeps trying to get a cheap victory and weasel his way out of a title match once again. And this is going to set up Big E to hit the big ending, and we will be crowning a new Universal Champion at the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns will take his first fall and lose to Big E, and that is how he loses the title. Now, the reason in this fantasy booking scenario I have Roman Reigns dropping the title is because I feel like a feud between Roman and The Rock doesn't really need a championship. And, it would definitely put over Big E massively to beat someone like Roman Reigns, and especially being associated with someone like The Rock. Now, this takes us to the February pay-per-view, which presumably will be the Elimination Chamber, And Roman Reigns decides to no-show this pay-per-view because he is the tribal chief and he is going to do whatever he wants as a result. Now, at this point, there's many ways that this can go. I've considered in my head, there could be a complete falling out between the family and everyone goes their separate ways. Or there could even be, like one Uso takes the side of The Rock and the other takes the side of Roman. And, there's like a tag team match at Fastlane. But ultimately, what I decided to go with here is having The Rock face the Usos in a gauntlet match at Fastlane to set him up to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. And on this show, to end the match, to end the pay-per-view, as it goes off air, Roman Reigns spears The Rock, just to plant another little extra seed and set them up for their culmination match, which will take place at WrestleMania. Now, one little thing I forgot to add here was following The Rock's victory over both of the Usos at the Fastlane pay-per-view, this will be the final implosion of the entire family, and the Usos will abandon Roman Reigns and going to be, very upset. It's part of the reason why he did it. He no-showed Elimination Chamber. He was wanting to play mind games with The Rock. He wanted to, try and get in his head. He wanted to prevent the Usos from turning on him. All these little things are playing into why he's doing what he's doing. And after the Usos lose, they end up just abandoning him, especially after they spear The Rock and, they see how, disgusting his demeanor has been. It's kind of something clicks. There's a realization and, they're set free in a way. And that'll make this match that much more tense, that much more personal, that much more vigorous, because the Roman Reigns will now have an even more personal vendetta against The Rock for ruining his bloodline and for destroying everything that has been building up for the past year and a half, 2 years, however long it's been. And that will be the final culmination as they come head-to-head at WrestleMania. And yeah, that's it. I tried to keep it as brief and short as possible, because if I went through each individual week like I did for my King of the Ring fantasy booking, I doubt people want to stay tuned through all that. But that's basically my brief description of how I would book Roman Reigns to ultimately get the feud between him and The Rock at WrestleMania, and also get the belt off of Roman Reigns, and, play into the cash-in of Big E and his storyline with the briefcase, and, to put him over, because, the whole reason they split up from the New Day was because he was supposed to be the single star, and I feel like this is the perfect way to do this. And I've been thinking this for quite some time, all the way back from post-WrestleMania. I wanted to do how I would book Roman Reigns post-WrestleMania, and I was thinking, The Rock would be a special guest referee in a Hell in a Cell match, and, a Big E would be the briefcase holder, and, a similar angle to how I've booked it here. And I think it's cool that it's kind of starting to happen that way, at least, Big E won the briefcase and things like that. And I feel like this would be the perfect way to integrate all these stories and have them cross these paths, and I think this could be the perfect way to have this feud set up. So yeah, I was supposed to record this on Monday after MIPB, but I got really lazy and didn't feel like doing anything for about a week and a half. So here we are. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, leave any feedback you have in the comments below, and just thanks for watching.